Alright, hi YouTube. Everybody say hi. This was round 5 of the Colorado Closed, and it was one seriously up game. So, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear in the first minute. I don't know how it works. But, it, I guess. Alright, good YouTuber thing. So, I was playing the legendary Chris Motley, that we know and love on the stream, as the man we play. Daniel and I take turns playing him. We play him at least 3 times a month. It's just, you know, for some reason we always get paired with him. So you've probably seen a few games before. And the last time I played him was in the Clone Wars, which was the event where I simuled over the board classical, and it was rated. It affected my regular rating. I actually gained rating points. But I played 3 rated games at once. And I actually lost to him there. I had a winning position, and then I just kind of like killed myself. Because I was also playing Edward Yazutaki, which was a game I was actually losing, and I won. So, I mean, I guess it's an even trade-off. I don't know. But this time, I wasn't really sure what to expect, because his opening in that tournament, I got just a very good position out of the opening, so I didn't think he would play the same way. We had a Catalan. I played Knight f3, really? Did I really play Knight f3 here? I didn't play g3 here? Okay. Okay, anyway, I guess it doesn't matter because it transposed. Alright, we have a normal position here. And then he takes, so we have some normal lines. Knight f3 is the main move, this is correct, but my repertoire, I play g3 to avoid Queen's Indian. So it's just kind of weird that I would do that when I don't have anything if he had played b6. So I don't know why I did that, because I would have been like completely out of theory there. But whatever, it's fine. Alright, he takes. Now it's time for some Catalan shit. So Queen c2, b6 is weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's a weird move, it's not very good. However, it's one that I knew zero theory in. Normal moves, a6, followed by a4, bishop d7, bishop c6, bishop g5, and then queen c1. Queen c2 is the old move, but queen c1 is a move I played in a game at one point. And this is normal. But b6, because it wasn't a main line, I didn't know it, because I just know main lines. That's for some reason I get losing positions out of the opening all the time when I refuse to look at theory, which isn't true anymore. I've started doing it again. But I had to think for a very long time here, because he has this friend who's also a streamer. Shout out WillWolf42069. And Will Wolf is a bit of a fucked up theoretician. He is famous for quotes such as, have you heard of the double grob Coca-Cola gambit? He just knows a ton of theory and like the worst openings ever, but he knows the theory. It's very weird. And they're best friends, so I was like, oh, they probably prepped together. So b6, I was like very afraid of some Will Wolf prep. And that's a little peek into my psychological. So I played theory for a while, but I had to think a long time because I didn't know jack shit here. So my assumption was that if I played the obvious move, knight e5, I mean, it just makes sense to kind of respond this way. I was afraid of an exchange sack line, either like something like c6 or maybe even just queen takes d4. And I didn't like the look of this. This looked like something he knew theory in, and I was correct that this was what. I mean, purely based on metagaming, I was like, I'm not going to play knight e5. There's no way he just randomly played this move when he hasn't ever before, and that there's no way. So based on that, the next thing I thought about was, okay, what's next here? He wants to put a bishop on b7, he wants to play knight d5. And I think that's pretty much it. So, hello Simply Evans. I played bishop g5, which is the best move. And the point is that maybe follow up knight d5 with bishop takes e7. And if I ever play e3, it won't be locked in here, and trading this bishop for another bishop is good. I had a lot of reasons, I don't remember all of them. The intention is not to play bishop f6. If he plays h6, I will have to do this. And it's not so bad, because they play like... Yeah, I could just play knight d2 here, because if he takes, like, he's hanging his rook. So if he plays h6, I'll do that, but I'm not gonna do it unprovoked. Bishop f4, my bishop is suck, so I will probably trade it off. Again, because the f6 knight will be very good on d5 in some cases, so it's not, I don't mind trading it off. So he plays knight d5, and then this is apparently theory, so I take on e7, or no I don't. Oh no, I do remember this! Okay, more metagaming. I was like, okay, bishop takes e7 is the obvious move. And I thought, I'm super proud of this actually. This is the obvious move, and he was playing fast, he was being confident, so I knew that he was still in theory, and I was not. When I played bishop g5, I wasn't sure if it was even a reasonable move, but he immediately responded with knight d5, meaning that I played the right move by accident. So I want to get out of theory as soon as possible, because if we're in a position that he knows, even if he doesn't know the theory well, he at least knows the ideas, and I know nothing. So what is another move that white can play that I already spoiled? I thought for a long time here. I played h4, which is a novelty, and it is the second best move after bishop takes e7, and it's the only other move that retains an advantage. So h4 is pretty cool. Let's give that an interesting. Yeah, it's natural, I guess. I don't think it's that obvious. Like, if you think about it in terms of I either have to retreat or trade, yeah, h4 is my only option, but I just like the whole thought process of trying to get him out of theory. And h4 seemed like a reasonable move to me. After a move like h6, then I take on e7. And this is like an improved version of it, because I've gained some space. He's made, not a weakness, but probably play e4 at this point. Anyway, so h4 is very cool. So in the game he played b5, which is already not very good, which is what I was trying to do. I was trying to get him out of theory so that he would have to figure out moves by himself, and have to actually play chess with me. Now I play a4, which is, again, a second best move. Better is just taking on e7, but that might transpose into something he knows. So a4 is kind of a typical response in these positions. And then again, he makes another like subpar move. It's very kind of odd looking. c6 is what I was expecting, followed by like knight c3, or maybe just taking. I don't really like doing that though, unless it's immediately cashing in on something. I like to keep him with his weird pawn structure, because it's hard to know what to do with your pieces unless you're very good. But okay, b4 is this. Now this is a very complicated position. He's giving me a pawn. Now why is he giving me the c4 pawn? You would take e7 and play knight g5 to make black play g6. That's what I did in the game, which is the best continuation. The reason taking on c4, it's fine, but he's just giving the pawn back to play bishop a6, and I don't know, his pieces are kind of active, kind of makes me nervous. So yes, now is the time to take on e7, play knight g5, force g6, weaken all the dark squares, and now he has weaknesses on his king side, and he's overextended on the queen side. So white is just better. Now, what to do here? Yes, George, you're exactly right. He could have played knight f6, giving me a rook. Thanks for the Twitch Prime, by the way. So, what to do here? Again, taking on c4 is not good because of bishop a6. So this is an interesting idea he came up with. He's limiting my knight a little bit. There's no way the bishop moves that far. But okay. So, I took on c4. But listen, I had a reason. My reason was I sat there and I calculated a bunch of nonsense for a very long time until I thought I came up with something really, really cool, which was a pawn sacrifice myself, which had to do with sacrificing the e-pawn to open up this file and put more pressure on the knight and the queen on d7, along with the underdeveloped rook that can be attacked via c6. So, okay, so I take, and he plays bishop a6, queen c2, rook c8, and he can't move his knight, because if he moves his, if he puts his knight here, I have queen c6, and the bishop is not doing well, as they say. Just to show, if you take on e2, then I actually have, oh yeah, I have to play rook e1 first. I forgot about this. And followed by some tactic of taking the knight, maybe taking this knight. Oh, no, I'm having the exact same problem that I had in the game, I remember now. I kept thinking I had this tactic of taking and then taking and playing knight f6. There's just a lot of knights touching the square, but none of them are mine. So sorry, the point is the pin. This was my whole point, and black is lost here. But that was another idea I was trying to get to work. Is one where my knight is on e4 and I'm taking on d7. But that is hard to do when he still has a knight on d5, so I was having some difficulties. So knight e4 is played. White is still better. The point of knight e4 is that, I don't know, c5 looks annoying, so I want to be able to not allow it. And his pieces are just very strange. Knight d7 is a good move, but the difference here is that now I've blocked this file. So he can take on e2, and it's not as bad. It's like equal. Better is just playing rook c1 because he attacked the square, so I should add another defender to it, and white is a little bit better. Yeah, this is an interesting game. I've been doing weird things in this game. And this is just like a case of trying desperately to make something work that's almost there, that just doesn't work, but just kind of trying to force it to happen. So queen c6, bishop takes e2, and this was my brilliant little pawn sack. The problem is that bishops cannot jump over knights. If I could play bishop takes d5 here, then you would be losing, because then I would take on d7 and then play knight f6. But unfortunately, I can't do this. And then I was like, I would like to just like take everything on e6 and attack you. So I played knight g5, which is very bad. But the point was that if you do nothing, I might be gonna take on e6, okay? Now, what can black do here? Because now black is actually winning. What was the move that I missed? What is the doof principle of knights? Just like how pawns are kind of weird, because so every other piece on the board, when it leaves a square, it's now defending the square that it was just on. The only thing that's not true of are pawns. So sometimes I'll have like weird moments where I think that I'm defending a square with my pawn because I left it. But with knights, when a knight leaves a square, a color square, it stops defending all of the squares that it was defending in the past. And now he can play queen d6, and he forces a queen trade. And I am down a pawn for nothing, which I didn't see. It's just like overlooking shit, because he couldn't do that the move before. And I just wanted to take on e6, go crazy on his fucking light squares. Knight c5 is a little bit better. It's kind of the same problem though, because if I just do this, you have queen d8. Like, where does my queen go now? Oh, I can take here. Okay, I have to answer the threat. I have to do this then. But yeah, my queen is very weird and stupid. His pieces are active. My knight is bad. My rook is bad. Black is better. Okay, but knight d2, and it's like equal. Maybe put a different knight on c5. And this position just looks like it should have tactics coming out of it, so I was frustrated that none of them were working for me. But anyway, he played queen d6, and I was like, okay, fuck, I'm just worse. Like, this is just awful. I play queen c1, being a little bit stubborn, not wanting to trade the queens, but of course, playing queen c1 is just putting another piece on the back rank. I have absolutely no compensation for the pawn. I probably should have traded the queens. So now c5, and this is a problem. I feel like I shouldn't need to explain why this whole side of the board is a problem. I mean, look at my stupid pieces. They're so bad. Now I'm just shuffling my pieces around. Queen e1, I don't know. I think the point had something to do with queen f3. I do remember like praying for the chance of playing queen a8 at some point, so that I had this. I remember being like, if there's a god, he will allow me to play queen a8 at some point in this game. Like if my queen is here, like if he moves his bishop and like I might have queen a8. It didn't happen, shockingly. So white is lost because you know, pawns are pretty good. It's kind of all there is to say about this. Now, here's the great part. I actually didn't lose this game. White did not lose. White did not lose. White should have lost, but white was being you know, a little bit too hopeful here. So b3 is the best move. That's my little try. I'm trying to keep the pawns there tactically to stop them from advancing. Yes, exactly. There is no god because queen a8 did not happen. So obviously if he takes, he hangs his bishop. And if he moves, he hangs his bishop. Right now, the goal, the only mission I have is just to survive. I'm not winning this game. Unless. But no, I'm not winning this game. So he plays rook b8. It just makes sense. He's just supporting his monster pawns. I mean, his pieces are just good. They're all in the center. They're all doing things. Mine are a bunch of crack addicts, just looking for their next big break. So I take on c4. Bishop takes c4. Knight d2. And yeah, queen f3 threatens mate, but he just like does that. And then what was the point? I want to reserve this in case it actually does something. Like if he moves one of these knights, it's harder to defend. So I'm going to play it if it becomes good. Listen. Watch my other games where I actually didn't play like an idiot, please. But alright, I take on c4, play knight d2. I'm actually trying to get my pieces in. One pawn is a lot less threatening than two. However, this is a very good pawn. So, knight c3. And remember what I said. Now he doesn't have knight f6 as a response, so now we play queen f3 because this is actually slightly more difficult to defend. And then, oh, look at this. The queen is back on e7, where I was seeing all these fake tactics before about this pin and the light squares. Now he's back there. So, white to play and create bullshit that doesn't work. Just to be clear, black is still winning, but, you know, in a practical game playing a human 2000 rated player, how do you create some confusing shit? So knight takes c4 makes sense because we are removing the controller of the light squares. We are putting another piece on a loose light square. This is correct. But if I play d5, he has e5, and I'm losing. I'm losing my way too, but it's, you know, I did play the best move here, by the way. So I guess white to play and make some bullshit up. Pause the video here. The Twitch chat's gonna have to just work it out. That's not even a chess piece, George, so try again. Usually when I'm in this situation, I take, check, checkmate. Yeah. Alright, George. Go, George. Bishop h3. Adding another attacker to the light squares. And if I could just get my knight up in there. The threat is knight takes f7. If I could just get in there, you know? Just let me in those fucking light squares. So, now it is black to play and not allow the bullshit. Bishop h3 has a lot of ideas attached to it. But no super concrete threats. Just sack the knight and play in the daytime, easy. Yeah, knight takes e6 is a threat as well. Like, it's unclear exactly what I want to do. Rook takes e6 is a threat. Also, it's depending on what you do. Like, that's the tough part about this position. I have so many stupid tries that you have to look out for all of them. You have to use all this energy trying to, you know, figure out this bullshit. Rook b6, but that leaves the back rank open. What did my opponent play? I don't even remember. Rook c6, does that not hang a rook? Am I missing? So what Black has to do here is they have to be very calm and collected and realize that I'm not really threatening anything, and just play b3. Just keep pushing. This pawn is very good, and it's already set up to promote. And here, the best move would be rook takes e6, f takes e6, bishop takes e6, king h8. And I can take on c4, but then you just play b2, queen takes c3, and oh shit, you're down a piece. You can be up in exchange if you take here, but there is only one winning move in this position for black. b1 is the same thing as taking on a1. You're up in exchange, but I have two pawns and probably white's better. And I didn't see this move from afar. I just kind of assumed this would work out for me. I don't know exactly what I thought the evaluation was, but I was like, it'll probably work out. And it did. b5 is a move for white. We're looking for black moves. Alright, queen b4. What is your idea behind queen b4, Sorrow? You're correct. It is queen b4. Pepega moment. If he takes, we take rook. Yeah, we're removing the guard, and we are also saying that we're attacking the bishop. You know, we do this, but I think that, I was gonna say if I put my queen on the back rank, like it's also I'm attacking the bishop, but yeah, I think I do this. Are you gonna attack me though? Like, this is still complicated as hell. This is still black has to find only moves, like, to be winning. If I take, there's d5, as Tina said, she correctly predicted. And then am I getting a perpetual? There's this. Draw. I'd take white here. Alright, anyway, so this is why, now the correct move, what was I saying? I was saying here, now the correct move is this, followed by rook b4, which is just winning a pawn. Anyway, he didn't see any of that. So, I like my little try, because that's you have to find moves like this in really bad positions. You just have to find these moves, even though you're losing. You just have to find the more human, you know. I'm not very good with my words, but I'm pretty good with putting my bishops on h3. So my opponent played queen f6, which is, I think, kind of a devastating move for me to see. Because it's like, my opponent is telling me, listen, I'm not gonna think about all that shit. I'm just gonna trade the queens and win with my b-pawn. And I don't have a choice. I have to trade the queens. So, it's, because if I don't, like, I mean, my queen doesn't have a square. Like, this shit is hideous. So I have to trade the queens. And then white to play here, and again, play the best practical try to not lose, and also the best move. So everyone's saying knight takes e6, which is incorrect. If I play knight takes e6, he just plays b3. There was... Better is to play knight takes f7, because now I actually do have a threat. If you play b3, then I take on e6, or did, you know, the move that I played apparently. b3 is the best move here. And again, I am losing if I take here because of just like rook c7, I think, at the least. Like, you don't have a discovery. So I tried this, and I got very lucky here. So this is another like sneaky tactical try. So I'm attacking his rook. He only has one good move here. Well, that's not true, probably. He probably has at least two. I only could find one good move here. So... Yes, I'm lost either way. However, I did not lose the game, so maybe just trust me when I tell you that I'm still fighting. So, rook b4 is what my opponent played, which is wait, no. What is this analysis? Yeah, I didn't think he did. Okay, sorry. b3 is what he has to play here, and he didn't play it. But anyway, in this position, this is not very good. I think because I go here and I'm attacking the knight, maybe getting in there, taking and checking you to death, I believe. I mean, this is like conceptual thinking, it's not calculation. But in this position, black would have to play rook c6. Then I'm just kind of out of moves. Like I can take here, and then I have to move my knight. Then b2 comes. But anyway, my opponent did not play b3. He played rook d4. And now it is equal, actually. So what was the point? What was the point of you know, all this? Chat's analysis? That makes sense. Rook takes d4 makes sense. Maybe he's just trying to take one more thing out of the position that he has to calculate because it's so sharp. So white to play and draw. Again, the big problem is the b-pawn. So how do I neutralize the b-pawn? Yes, only one move. It's kind of an obvious move. Yeah, bishop takes e6. And the point is that I get to play bishop b3 now and blockade the pawn. Because you no longer have time to do this shit. So then there's a check. This is what happened in the game. Maybe I shouldn't spoil completely. So this is the variation I was expecting, and I was like, this looks awful. I mean, every day I would take black here if I had the choice. But since it's tricky, and he was like, oh, I think we're both under 10 minutes. I don't remember. He played b3, finally trying to get the pawn going, which fails to... And now we're seeing why the rook is bad on d4. Knight e5 check, followed by knight c6 with a fork. And I really like knights because, you know, their range is very long because of the forks. Well, they're short-range pieces, but because they eat with the fork, their arms are longer. And now I have equalized. Go me. It still looks scary because this is still, you know, happening, but I take on d4, and it's just equal. And then my opponent offered me a draw here, and I am the only one who can win this position. However, I had to have had under 5 minutes, and it was the last game and I was exhausted and I had been blundering all weekend long. But I was a little annoyed because I was like, ugh, this looks like a draw to me, but I have a bishop, I'm up a pawn. I know that it's a draw. However, if I take the draw, I know I'm gonna hear it from people saying, you should have played on, you should have played for a win, I would have played for a win there. And I just didn't have the energy to do that shit, so I accepted a draw. And of course I heard it. More people were upset that he offered a draw there. They thought it was rude. Which I guess I understand. But I didn't really see it that way. I don't think he meant it that way at all. And I think I used the rest of my time like trying to figure out a scenario where I would win, and I was having trouble because even in a scenario where I trade a pair of knights, I win this knight, trade these, like it's like I win everything and I'm left with my h-pawn and my bishop. That's still a draw. So like I just took the draw because I was tired of blundering. He has so many knights. He has like 5 knights that I have to worry about. So I took a draw here. It is equal, but I mean, maybe if it were the only game of the day, or if I hadn't been blundering, I would have played on, but I just didn't want to. But anyway, I drew that shit. So moral of the story is counterplay or something. Counterplay. You know the Lichess? The 2 arrows, counterplay. Alright.